Good evening, esteemed viewers. This is EBN TV Prime Edition. My name is Consolata Chibalonza and welcome to Follow the Bulletin. And kicking us off, a video emerged on Monday of leaking roofs at the country's main airport, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, that is JKIA. In the video shared widely on social media, rainwater is seen pouring on the JKIA foyers and hallways from the terminal roofs as travelers queued to either have their luggage checked or book tickets. Deputy President Igathe has come out in support of what Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who yesterday blamed the state of affairs at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on poor workmanship by the contractor and engineers.
What the CS Kipchumba is talking about, the airport, I've seen some people castigating him when he said yesterday what happened about JKIA. But that is the truth. JKIA was done at a massive cost. But today is a shame to this profession of engineers and architects. Public resources were expended. When you go there, you feel sorry. But engineers, QSs, and architects certified. And on the basis of that certification, payments were made. And that's why I agree with the CS. I think, Engineer Mongera, we may want to look at the law where professionals are held accountable for lapses and for misleading the taxpayer by certifying shoddy jobs, and probably they become culpable.
Mfano, huko Nairobi tulipata kwamba ile renovation ilikuwa kwa JKIA, Terminal 1C, Terminal 1E, 1A, 1B. Tunaona kwamba aswa kwa sababu watu wengi waliona ile uwanja ilivuja jana wakati ilinyesha mvua kwa wingi, ni kwa sababu ile renovation ilifanywa kwa Terminal 1C na E ilifanywa kwa nia ya kwamba hiyo uwanja sehemu hiyo ingevunjwa na ijengwe kitu ilikuwa inaitwa infill project. Kwa sababu hiyo infill project ilihitaji pesa nyingi sana, ile renovation ilifanywa ilikuwa temporary. Gari limeongea na wale contractors walifanya kazi hiyo na wahandisi na wasimamishi wa kazi hiyo, na tumekubaliana ya kwamba lazima hiyo kazi irudiwe kufanywa vizuri.
And some developing news on the same. Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Mr. Kipchumba Murkomen has formed an 11-member committee to investigate the status of Kenyan airports and make recommendations within 28 days. The committee will be chaired by the Director of Kenya Airports Authority, Engineer Walter Ogola. Members include KAA Directors George Ngugi and Major Retired Nipi Iltasayon, Martin Wamae, Public Works, Richard Cherop from KCAA, and Engineer Christine Zai, Materials Testing and Research Division. Others are engineers Judith Kimeu and James Mbui from KCAA, Lawrence Mochama, Chief Architect, Public Works, Sharon Asio from the AG's office, and Engineer Frederick Kabunge. Moving on to other news, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has once again highlighted the power struggle that emerged in Azimio's inner sanctum ahead of the 2022 general elections. Raila now says Azimio would have won all the key seats in Nairobi County had the party settled on a more competitive candidate. While addressing a section of religious leaders at Westlands Primary School in Nairobi, Raila regretted backing corporate executive Polycarp Igathe as the party's Nairobi gubernatorial seat flag bearer. Selecting Igathe, according to Raila, was a miscalculation that still haunts him to date. The decision to front Igathe to compete with incumbent Governor Johnson Sakaja of the United Democratic Alliance was largely attributed to Azimio Council chairperson, former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
Tunashinda president, tunashindwaje kwa nini kiti ya governor? Hatungeweza kushindwa, tukashinda kwa mbali sana. Na mimi mwenyewe ninajuta kwa sababu mimi ndio niliambiwa niambie timu awache. Na timu akawa mungwana, akakubali. Kwanza tulikuwa nasema awe running mate, lakini baadaye akaniambia mimi hapana. Nimefikiria hii maneno nikasema hapana, mimi nitarudi Westland. nikubalie mimi nirudi wapi? Yakarudi Westlands. Sasa yeye amerudi Westlands, lakini sisi tunaangalia mbele huko. Sasa unajua ambaye aliokoka hahitaji nini? Injili. Yeye ni mtu ambaye anajua kazi yake. Yeye ni mtu kwanza amesoma vizuri, anajua mambo ya sheria, anajua mambo ya uchumi. Mtu kama huyu anaweza kufanya kazi kubwa zaidi. Kwa hiyo mtu kama haya nataka apewe fursa. Team hoye!
The State of the Nation address by the President, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, has brought about different reactions by members of the Parliament in a parliamentary session held to debate on the leader's speech. Among them were Malindi MP Amina Mnyanzi, who trashed President Ruto's State of the Nation address, whereas UDA Senator Alexander Munyi supported the address, asking the House to take the speech with an open mind. Here are some of the reviews.
Naunga mkono Rais wa Kenya ambaye kwa ile mazungumzo alizungumza siku ya Alhamisi, ambaye ingawa ya kikao kuna watu wengine maseneta ama wajumbe wa kuhudhuria, lakini mazungumzo yake ilikuwa mzuri kwa sababu aligusia mambo ya ndani katika Kenya. Katika county, vile county zimekuwa na madeni nyingi na county nyingi tumeona sikipatiwa pesa ya kulipa, na pia serikali ya Kenya wakati wa miaka iliyopita alikuja akakuta kuna madeni, na hiyo madeni ambayo iko nje inaendelea kulipwa. Mambo mengine aligusia kama mimi vice chairperson wa agriculture, aligusia mambo ya kilimo, akusema ni county gani katika Kenya tuko na county 47 na akusema ni Busia ama ni Embu. Akasema mambo ya fertilizer kutoka 6,000 mpaka na 500 mpaka 2,500 ndio kilimo yote, kwa sababu kila mtu yote amekubali kulima, ndio kila mtu apate chakula, ndio wale watu wanadanganya watu kuweka sufuria kwa kichwa. Hiyo mambo yote tuwache. Akazungumza mambo ya elimu. Katika elimu kwa kipindi ya miaka 10 hakuja ajiriwa walimu. Hata watu wengi wamesoma mambo ya elimu na wakaacha hiyo kazi, na sasa ameajiri walimu 50,000.
Cha kustaajabisha Mheshimiwa Spika, katika hotuba ya rais hii ambayo iliweza kutoanishwa hapa juzi, watu wengi walikuwa hawana interest ya kusikiza hayo maneno, kwa sababu yale maneno ambayo tumekuja kuelezewa hapa katika hili bunge la kitaifa ni yale maneno ambayo Wakenya wanasikia kila siku. Tukimwona rais amesimama juu ya gari na akihutubia watu barabarani. Ndio maana sasa hatujaona tofauti ya yale maneno ambayo sisi tunasikia kule mitaani na yale maneno yenye ambayo yamekuja kuzungumza hapa, Mheshimiwa Spika. La pili, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni mengi ambayo rais ameweza kuyazungumza na kuna mazuri hapo ndani, na vile vile pia sisi ni lazima tukashifu pale ambapo tunaona kuna mambo ambayo hayako sawa. Kitu ambacho nitaunga wenzangu mkono ni kuhusu hili swala la Hustler Fund. Mimi Mheshimiwa Spika, imenishangaza na mpaka dakika hii nimepigwa na butwa kusikia ya kwamba kuna mtu ambaye amepata milioni 4,500,000. Najua sijui, lakini maybe ningeweza kupata namba ya simu ya huyo mtu, Mheshimiwa Spika, ili niweze kuhakikisha, kwa sababu mimi sitaki kuita mtu mrongo.
It is disappointing to see the same women who have been played games on are misused, are struggling, are crying, even to take their children to school, even to place food on the table for their children. Mr. Speaker, sir, as representatives of the people of this great nation of Kenya, we must speak the truth, and we should not stand here to lie to Kenyans.
Away from politics to the counties, in a way to sensitize road safety and also help those who were involved in road accidents, the founder of the Be Roadwise organization, Beatrice Kariuki, has emphasized the need to consider traffic laws and prevent avoidable accidents. Our reporter Romo Dennis visited the place and gives us the full details of the story.
In the event to motivate the victims of road accidents in Makadara area on how to embrace life after the accident, The founder of the Be Roadwise organization, Beatrice Kariuki, has emphasized the need to consider traffic laws and prevent avoidable accidents.
We are gathered here today because of World Day of Remembrance 2023, remembering and supporting and even taking action for victims of road crashes.
Kariuki has asked the traffic department and organizations like Be Roadwise to fight for the rights of the accident victims to enable their families to develop themselves as they were before the accident incidents.
Be Roadwise Association of Kenya, this is not a one-time event. In fact, we've previously had more events with victims of road crashes, and moving forward, we will proactively engage victims on a quarterly basis, running workshops that are meaningful to them.
On the other hand, Mary Chege, Director of Peculiar Life Care Consultancy, has said that the mental health among accident victims should be considered to prevent further harm.
And the main aim is to support people who have been victims and together with their families. And we are saying it's important for people to accept, where are you at? Just ask yourself, where are you at? Are you a victim? Are you a family member? So that you can be able to see how you can as well support each other. The main aim here is to look at the stamina, the mental stamina, the mental wellness for an individual, for a family member.
Chege has also called on the families, the government and private organizations to enable the victim to support them by giving them the employment.
What next? What else can you be able to do? Because it is very important just to map up and to understand the areas that you need support. And by so doing, I'm telling you, you can be able to move on and you can be able to make sure that life continues. It may not be as before, but there is a way you can be able to tell yourself, yes, I am here, but I have to move on. Yes, I don't have a leg. Yes, I'm leaping, but I can be able to survive. What else can you be able to do? Maybe you cannot be able to work with your own hands. You can not be able to walk, but are there things that you can be able to do?
Many of the victims have indicated the difficulty of their lives because they lost their jobs and business during the treatment, and they have urged the organization to help them ease their lives.
Sisi sote macho ni madereva wote, tusipokuwa sisi sote macho hatuwezi kukamilisha usalama wetu barabarani.
My fellow youth, kama mnanisikia mkiwa kwa rodi mkairada, usibebe excess, unaweza lose balance. Na unaweza choose hata kwenda driving, si lazima kama ujue yenyewe ujue life yako itakost.
Kutoka ile wakati kuna mambo mengi yamerudi nyuma. Ninapofikiria venye nitayapata siwezi, ni kwa sababu vile nilivyokuwa najifanyia kazi siwezi saa hii, lakini najisukuma najiinua ili niweze kuona Mungu ameniwezesha.
As the organization of Be Roadwise Association of Kenya commemorates the road victims, many of them now urges more organizations to join hands in helping them in their wellness and justice. But the question now remains, will they get the solution? Toromo Dennis, EBN TV, Prime Edition.
Thank you very much, Toromo Dennis, with your report over there. And now the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council on Tuesday evening closed down Mudhetania Hospital in Nairobi after what they termed as not complying to healthy standards. According to KMPDC CEO David Kariuki, they had visited the facility 3 weeks ago and nothing had changed, forcing them to close it down. Masikirito Mutegi, the assistant proprietor of Mudhetania Hospital, said they have operated for 30 years without issues and termed it as political and business rivals who are using county and government officials to close down their business.
Various regulatory bodies visited the facility and they did what we call a partial closure and gave some recommendations. Despite our closure then, we have again been informed that the facility continued to provide services without our authority. And we then have gone back together with the National Government Administration officers from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and have arrested 2 officers there. One, we have closed the facility for not complying to standards, not complying to our notice to close. Secondly, for using unqualified staff, and thirdly, for the poor outcomes for which we are continuing with investigations. So the facility will remain closed for as long as the investigations are ongoing and recommendations that have been given have not been complied with. Normally, facilities comply to standards, and we provide annual licenses every year for their continued operations. If we do not get any complaints from the persons receiving services, and if during our regular compliance visits they are found to be complying, then we allow them to continue. But for this particular time, we received complaints that there are people who feel they have not been well managed, and we went and did the closure of the inpatient service and left them to operate the outpatient without inpatient services.
Ongelesha mgonjwa mbaya, daktari gani amepiga mama akizaa, daktari gani amefanya nini, we are here 24/7. Kwa hivyo mimi ningeomba hivi, kama ni hizi competition za kazi, kindly let us be friends, let's have a fair game. Wacha uwanja iwe safi ya kila mtu acheze kivyake, kwa sababu kama ni kutibu ndawa tunanunua the same place, so it depends vile unaongea na watu wako. Yes, tuachaneni na kupigana bure tu tafadhali.
Still on county news, into a sudden news, a 9-year-old girl was rushed to Homa Bay County Teaching and Referral Hospital following serious injuries she sustained from a man who defiled her. The grade 4 girl at a private school in Homa Bay town suffered injuries in her eyes and rectum after the ordeal. It is reported that the girl was defiled in a sorghum farm by an unknown man at Shauriako Estate in Homa Bay town on Tuesday afternoon. The man waylaid the girl on her way to her grandmother's house before grabbing her into the farm. The suspect, who escaped after the incident, stabbed her eyelids with a sharp object and slit them.
At Shauriako Lower, where a child of 9 years has been defiled and eyes injured by a big stone. It was a terrible scene, and this thing happened in the thicket of a millet plantation, where just the noise was heard by the grandmother, who rushed to the scene and found the child in great pain. So I don't think it was just a rape, it's not just a defilement as per se, but definitely was something more than that. The child was in terrible pain, and the police and my office are working very hard if they can allocate this man. The eyewitnesses are saying that the person who they suspect passed them by when they had not known anything, but the person was in blue jeans and white t-shirt. So we don't know the motive yet why he did this, but it's a very terrible scene. He must be very wicked.
Yes, we have a 9-year-old girl who was brought in with assault. Actually, she has been raped, and the emergency team really took care of her. Like we had to, she was traumatized. The orbital bone has a small rupture. Actually, it's ruptured, and then she was stabbed in the eye. Like the cornea is affected. The left cornea is affected. We have like 2 slits of some knife, and then on the upper part of the right eye, that is the orbital region, it has some very deep cuts. Again, it's like this guy tried, and actually he raped the girl, because their feces, yeah, their feces is like he has ruptured even he got into the rectum, and the girl seemingly has rectovaginal fistula as we speak.
Still on inhumane atrocities, police in Kisii have arrested a 27-year-old man reported to have murdered his brother's wife and 2 children. According to the police report, he killed his brother's wife and kids due to a family feud on Tuesday while in Mesaria village in Kisii County. Police said that the man went into hiding and was arrested on Tuesday night in the Kegogi location, Marani sub-county. According to police, neighbors said that the suspect had disagreements with his brother over an unestablished issue and afterwards sneaked into the brother's house, wielding a machete, and killed the 3. Police said security forces were mobilized to corner the suspect before he could escape the region, and their efforts proved successful last night. The suspect is currently being probed on the matter in preparation for his arraignment, the police have reported.
Na huyo kijana, hii kitendo yenye amefanya, kuna wakati huyu kijana alikuwa form 2, pia hiyo kitendo alifanya. Alienda usiku kuweka panga kwa nyumba yake. Kuamka asubuhi akaniambia nilikuwa nataka nipige lakini nikawacha. Sasa kuamka asubuhi nikamwambia ule wacha hiyo maneno, enda kuchunga ng'ombe. Akaenda kuchunga ng'ombe. Ni kama nimeenda mtoni, akachoma nyumba ikaungua na vitabu yote na nguo kila kitu. Hata chakula yenye ilikuwa hapo ndani.
Nikirudi kwa mzee nikimwambia kijana anasema atatumaliza na familia yangu. Si tuketi tuongee ni nini mbaya atatumaliza na watoto. Mzee ananiambia yule kama amelewa muache. Akilewa anaonga na yanaisha. Na mzaongea mara mbili kama mchezo. Jana ndio hata nimeonea.
The man went missing. Immediately after that was threatening the members of the public. Then before the officers reached the scene, the man went missing. He hid somewhere. Then at around 8:12, 8:15 in the evening, that is PM, he serviced at Rioma police station, where he surrendered himself.
Still in county news, residents in Marura village, Kamahoha, Murang'a County, were taken aback when they stumbled upon more than 30 slaughtered donkeys in a neighbor's house. The shocking revelations occurred as they assisted in pushing a van stuck in the mud while transporting some of the meat. Local residents suspect that this clandestine activity has been happening for an extended period of time. Marago's Assistant Police Commissioner Gitonga Murungi shared that upon arresting the van driver, it was disclosed that the slaughtered donkeys were being transported to the Kayole area in Nairobi.
Because what is happening is not only in this area, it's across the board. So it's now his work to do all what is within his docket to make sure that people are living in peace. We are not losing our property because now if you calculate that the donkeys, approximate 10,000, that's about 300,000. That's a very big loss to those who are rearing those donkeys. So we are requesting the national government, the security, and especially the Minister of Interior to take care, to take interest for the Kenyans, because we are losing a lot due to this kind of means. So it's why our personal appeal to the Minister is to make sure that we have police in patrol.
Nimeshangaa na nimestuka kwa sana kwa kuona vile mambo yametendeka katika area hii yetu, ya kwamba ati tunasikia mambo kwa kutojionea, lakini leo tumejionea wazi ati vile ilivyo, ati ni wazi ati kuna punda zilitoroka mahali fulani na zikaletwa mahali hapa. Nimestuka na nikastukia mwenye kuibua hizo punda, sababu kama yeye ni mkulima wa kiasi, sasa ameingiza hasara kubwa. Na ningeomba serikali itusaidie kwa njia nzuri, hata waziri wetu wa ulinzi atulinde na wale watu wanafanya kazi nao washirikane nao wafanye kazi, watusaidie na wasaidie kama wenye punda na wenye mifugo. Nimeona kutoa hiyo vile imetolewa kichwa, imetolewa ngozi, huwezi ukajua ni punda, hauwezi ukajua ni ng'ombe, hauwezi ukajua ni ngamia.
Polisi na hilo gari lilikuwa pia limebeba nyama kwa wale punda ambao walikuwa wamechinjiwa pale, na mwenye hilo gari aliweza kukamatwa lakini wenzake wale ambao walikuwa nao waliweza kutoroka. Ni pamoja pia na wale wengine ambao tulifahamishwa kwamba walikuwa ni kadri ya watu kama 10 ambao walikuwa pale na ambao walihusika kwenye uchinjaji wa wale wanyama. Kwa kuhoji zaidi, tulifahamishwa kwamba na yule dereva sasa ambaye tuliweza kumnasa kwamba ile nyama ilikuwa inasafirishwa hadi sehemu ya Kayole Kona, Nairobi, na kwamba ni kazi ambayo hufanyika mara kwa mara.
And further away, consultations are needed to effectively solve the high cost of living menace in the country. This is the feedback from the two heads of the bipartisan talks ongoing in Machakos County. The committee is expected to give a report to the head of state as well as the opposition leader Raila Amolo Odinga by the 26th of November. As a result, the committee has summoned Professor Ndungu for a 1-hour meeting on Wednesday the 22nd to get the required clarification and help that is needed.
Well, we made quite some good progress, not just on the question of cost of living, but on a number of the issues, the 5 agenda items and other issues that Kenyans raised. We have had very extensive discussions and deliberations on the issues touching on the cost of living and agreed on a number of things. But we have also found need to make further consultations, and that's why we asked for time out to make further consultations, principally with the National Treasury, and we shall be recalling the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the National Treasury to join us when we reconvene next week on Wednesday, by which time we expect also to have a draft report to consider as we settle on the small issues that we are here to agree on. You see, there are proposals on the table, principally those that touch on taxation and something like the housing fund, which also falls within that ambit. And it's those issues that we want to engage the National Treasury further on before we are able to make a final determination on the way forward.
We have asked for further consultations, as Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah said, and we're pretty much on course. It is important that we hear from Treasury, and that is where they should help us crack that issue, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who collect the revenue, they are the ones who dispense, of course, service government programs, and so at this time we all know the country is crying out for help. So the cost of living matter, we said we decided to confront it head on. Okay, that's why we have asked for further consultations. We do not have full mandate, we have full mandate. This is why we are able to tell you that we are convening on Wednesday, the 22nd, for 1 hour with Professor Ndungu, and we hope he can help us crack that issue.
Kisii Governor Simba Arati has ordered the confirmation of 904 ECDE teachers immediately after the swearing in of the new Public Service Board. The new Public Service Board has been put in place after a court case was concluded by Labour and Employment Court to send home the whole service board that worked under the former Governor James Ongwae. Speaking at Gusii Stadium after the swearing in of 6 bench board members led by Elijah Obebo as the board chairman, Governor Arati said his government has run for months without the Public Service Board, and this made administration difficult for him. The governor sympathized with ECDE teachers and instructors who had been without pay for the months due to the absence of a functional Public Service Board, asking them to undertake a fresh staff audit and begin to weed out the existing ghost workers, and further ordered in the payroll cleanup to ensure only staff with genuine credentials work at the devolved unit.
If there is employment I've done now, this employment of 6 people, it has from 35, now it's at 41. Those are the only people that have employed as Governor Simba Arati. Chief officers, CECs, advisors, and GDU. Now the board, and these are already established and the people are there. I'm not employing anybody. There's been a lot of rumors outside here wasema wamevuta watu. No, I don't have powers. Now, nyinyi ndio mko. Ingia vuta watu kazi.
Kenya has affirmed its support for efforts to establish a sustainable action plan for reparatory justice processes for victims of historical and colonial injustices in the spirit of the United Africa. Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has urged African countries to set up legal and moral grounds for preparations, saying the continent should explore different models of preparatory justice to ensure timely compensations. He made the remarks at the African Reparations Conference in Accra, Ghana, where he is representing President William Ruto, even as he called for unity among Africans, people of African descent in the diaspora and other stakeholders through the establishment of African-Caribbean Joint Mechanism on Reparatory Justice.
President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency Azali Assoumani, President of the Union of Comoros and AU Chairperson, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Excellency Dr. Monique, Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. At the onset, permit me to convey apologies from His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, who was very keen to participate in this conference, but unable to do so due to prior engagements. Further, I take this opportunity to express my delight for the warm reception and generous hospitality extended to me and my delegation since our arrival in this beautiful city of Accra. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this historical conference affords us the opportunity to reflect on the many milestones we have achieved together, nationally and collectively.
Welcome to the world of sports. Harambee Stars head coach Engin Firat has expressed his beliefs in the Kenya national football team after landing in Gabon today for their Group F match that will be kicking off tomorrow. This is the maiden chance for Harambee Stars to qualify for their first in the World Cup, as they will be playing 2 games before returning to Kenya against Ivory Coast and Burundi. Firat had earlier noted that 4 key players will miss the match tomorrow against Gabon.
A long road after we had 500 days of ban. Now after more than 2 years now we have official matches. So and still we are on the way to develop the team. And I hope we can continue like this. Only this time we are really unlucky because a lot of players are missing who was normally in the starting 11. So, but we have to find solution, and the players know. I told them from beginning. For example, Anyembe and Okumo was in build-up of our team very important. So we need to find solutions, and then one of the most important solutions is that the team shows character, how they have shown in other matches too. So like in Russia, if you get this goal after some minutes and the goalkeeper is injured and you are coming back and you are even leading, so we have to show this character too also in these matches. This all needs time. Now I think we have a team, but still we have to work on details. This means tactically, especially details where we have to work on more, and people has to understand that if it's a national team you have not daily training, and daily training you can solve all the problems easier. We have only short times, like you see here. We will have with a full squad only 1 training before we go to the match, so therefore it's not easy to put all these things together.
And that really marks the end of EBN Prime Edition. My name is Consolata Chivalonza. Thank you very much for your time. Keep it right here on EBN TV. But for now, have a good night.